privileged to give the toast to the lassies here 2 years ago, and in that toast I talked about how, we really don't actually get a choice whether we're born lads or lassies. We don't get a choice whether we're born gay or straight, and we don't get a choice what country we're born into. So in that toast, I weighed up the overriding benefits of being born female, and then, even better, of being born a gay woman, where we get to love women too. And then I talked about how, in Scotland, we have gay marriage for the entire country. With the overwhelming conclusion, at least to me, that the reason we're born without choices is that if we had the choice, we'd all be Scottish lesbians. More choices than we had in Robert Burns' day. Just this week, Washington DC became the 6th jurisdiction to legalise gay marriage. New York, of course, is not one of the other 5. I know. Now, opponents of gay marriage say that marriage should be between a man and a woman. Or, if you're like Rudy Giuliani, it should be between a man, a woman, the other woman, and the woman you meet after that. This leaves us gay women left to quote the lesser-known poet who said, "It's a hell of a life when you've not got a wife and the man next door's got 2." Robbie Burns, of course, may have married only once, but we do know that he loved women. In fact, he loved them by the boatload. But then again, Robbie Burns himself had few choices. He was a man, for all that. And in his day, misogyny was the only way. But if he had the choice, would he choose to be a man again? Now, in this toast to the lassies, I know that part of my job is to put down men. But, in the gay world, we really should be on the same side, since we're certainly on the same team. And I've never been one to stereotype unnecessarily. But sometimes I'm a little pressed. For example, and this is a true story, last Christmas I was looking around the stalls at Union Square, and one of the stallholders, a man, said to me, "Are you from Scotland?" I said, "Yes." He said, "Where do you live?" I said, "The Upper West Side." He said, "Oban." But, perhaps it's just the way men are reared that makes them who they are. Like the Scottish boy who came home and told his mum he had a part in the school play. "What part?" she asked. "The Scottish husband," he said. The mum was furious and said, "Go back and tell the teacher you want a speaking part." Men, just like Burns, however, are resilient, and they're often unaware of their shortcomings, which is why they say there are 3 types of men: the handsome, the caring, and the majority. Men also, of course, have their own attempts at stereotyping us, often in the form of the dumb blonde jokes. Now, I never get offended when I hear a dumb blonde joke. Instead, I invoke Dolly Parton and say, "I know I'm not dumb. I also know I'm not blonde." But to get back to Burns, let's not forget there have been many positive advancements since Burns' time. Particularly, there has been the discovery of a birth defect that causes poor decision-making, distraction, and a lack of common sense. It's commonly known as the Y chromosome. So, armed with this knowledge, Robert Burns might think again. Okay, so men can tinker with toilets, change oil, and assemble gas grills. So can women, but we're not dumb enough to volunteer. Men still believe they're superior to women, but women know that equality is not the answer. Because women know that the only way women can achieve equality with men is to be able to walk down the street with a bald head, a beer gut, and still believe they're beautiful. And women do better when it comes to gifts also. A recent survey asked, what do you give the woman who has everything? And the majority answered, love, affection, attention. The same survey asked, what do you give the man who has everything? And the overwhelming response was, penicillin. So, in this day and age, ladies and gentlemen, I think Burns would agree it is now better to be born female. And of course, Burns loved women. As much as he was a misogynist, he was as passionate about his many female lovers as he was about his poetry and about his Scottishness too. All of this, ladies and gentlemen, leads to the inevitable conclusion. If he had the choice, if he had his time again, Robert Burns would come back as a Scottish lesbian. Please join me as we raise a glass and toast the lassies of all orientations everywhere. The lassies.
Thank you, Elise.